create a special environment which in turn affects the kinds of animals and plants that can exist in the forest.
Trees are an important component of the environment. They clean the air, cool it on hot days, conserve heat at night, and act as excellent sound absorbers. Plants provide a protective canopy that lessens the impact of raindrops on the soil, thereby reducing soil erosion. The layer of leaves that fall around the tree prevents runoff and allows the water to percolate into the soil. Roots help to hold the soil in place. Dead plants decompose to form humus, organic matter that holds the water and provides nutrients to the soil. Plants provide habitat to different types of organisms. Birds build their nest on the branches of trees. Animals and birds live in the hollows. Insects and other organisms live in various parts of the plant. They produce large quantities of oxygen and take in carbon dioxide. Transpiration from the forest affects the relative humidity and precipitation in a place.
Forest floor are also called detritus, duff, and the oak horizon. It is one of the most distinctive features of a forest ecosystem. It mainly consists of shed vegetative parts like leaves, branches, bark, and stems, existing in various stages of decomposition above the soil.
Although principally composed of non-living organic material, the forest floor also teems with a wide variety of fauna and flora. It is one of the richest components of the ecosystem from the standpoint of biodiversity because of the large number of decomposers and predators present, mostly belonging to invertebrates, fungi, algae, bacteria, and archaea. The air near the forest floor is hot and humid. Only 2% of the light that reaches the canopy can get through to the forest floor, so the forest floor is dim. This dim light slows the growth of many light-demanding plants. In some of the deepest jungles, the ground is a maze of scattered fallen leaves, roots, branches, and twigs.
Understory. Understory refers to plant life growing beneath the forest canopy without penetrating it to any extent. Plants in the understory comprise an assortment of seedlings and saplings of canopy trees, together with specialist understory shrubs and herbs.
Young canopy trees often persist in the understory for decades as suppressed juveniles until an opening in the forest overstory permits their growth into the canopy. In contrast, understory shrubs complete their life cycles in the shade of the forest canopy. Forest understories receive less intense light than plants in the canopy, and such light as does penetrate is impoverished in wavelengths of light that are most effective for photosynthesis.
Canopy, the second highest layer of the rainforest. It's like a dense roof of trees over the ground. Its lives 80 to 100 feet above the ground and is always green and leafy. It shields the ground from the sun and light rain.
Some creatures up there never go to the forest floor. Many butterflies, such as the Tony Raha, live up here. Many trees up here have leaves that end in a narrow point, which helps get water off the leaf. If the water didn't get off the leaf, algae or liverworts could grow on it. It is very hard for scientists to study the rainforest canopy because it is so hard to reach. So they build walkways up into the trees so they can just walk around up there.
Emergent layer. It is the tallest layer in the rainforest. It is made up of few white, tall trees that grow taller than the trees of the canopy.
They all have small waxy leaves. Large birds, such as harpy eagles, fly among the branches. The plants are made for living in the dry conditions of the 130 to 250 foot high emergent layer. The trees up here are much more wind-blown than the trees of shorter layers. Their seeds are spread all over the forest by strong winds. Some trees grow leafless for short periods of time, but almost never shed all their leaves.
There are three major types of forests: the tropical rainforest, temperate deciduous forest, and the coniferous forest. Tropical rainforests are found near the equator, where hot, moisture-laden air rises and dumps its moisture. These lush forests have year-round, uniformly warm temperatures, high humidity, and heavy rainfall almost daily. The best possibilities to explore tropical rainforests in the Philippines are on Bohol, Palawan, and Mindanao. Temperate deciduous forests grow in areas with moderate average temperatures that change significantly within the season. Lastly is the coniferous forest, also called boreal forest or taiga. These cold forests are found just south of the Arctic tundra in the northern regions, across the North America, Asia, and Europe. In this subarctic climate, winters are very long, dry, and extremely cold, while summers are short with cool to warm temperatures.
Hello everyone, I'm Heidi De Leola and I'm here to talk about the benefits of forest.
First, benefits of forest. Provides shade to streams. Forests provide stream and wetlands, providing greater habitat. Second, roots allow water to infiltrate. Their root system allow more water to infiltrate the ground. Next, canopy intercepts rainfall. Their canopy can intercept up to 50% of rainfall. Next, forest floor retains 3 times more water than grasslands. A forest floor in a rural or exurban forest retains 3 times more water than a grassland, and trees can remove 50 to 300 gallons of water a day through evapotranspiration, which is the movement of water through a plant from root to leaves. And and there are numerous benefits of forest and green infrastructure. It can serve as parkland and stormwater management land, resulting in multi-purpose or multifunctional stormwater management. It can aid in minimizing flooding. It can reduce the need for constructed stormwater management or gray infrastructure. And these benefits are this. Trees remove 50 to 300 gallons of water a day through evapotranspiration, and manages stormwater cost effectively, and also provides recreation and minimizes flooding, provides
and provides transportation, and lastly, provides wildlife habitat.
This is the last remaining watershed in north-central Mindanao. It's supposed to be protected land, but there's less than 10% of the forests left. Freshly cut logs are visible on the slopes and by the roadside, waiting to be smuggled out piece by piece and sold on the black market in defiance of a log ban. In the cities below, people are still reeling from the worst devastation the area has ever seen. Over 1,000 lives lost when rains triggered flash floods that brought mud, debris, and thousands of logs cascading down from denuded mountains.
These mountains sit on the intersection of 4 different provinces, one of them part of the autonomous Muslim region. So the environmental issues here cross not only geographical lines, but also political ones.
This local mayor says he's done what he can within his borders, but that the neighboring autonomous region still grants its own logging permits. He insists it isn't in his power to interfere or stop any logs from then being transported through his city.
Why in heaven's name should I be blamed for that? If you talk about violating the order of the president, you should ask them that. Why cannot be imposed it? They should be able to impose it, actually, not ordinary mayors like us.
The national government has environmental checkpoints set up in known logging zones, but they've been ineffective, with many residents saying it doesn't take much to bribe authorities to look the other way.
There are local officials who need to really be sanctioned, and some national officials as well. You're really playing with what really is Mindanao's future. It's not just the ecosystems that are damaged, it's the entire sort of economic prospects and opportunities for the whole region.
One thing all sides now agree on is that a more unified approach to environmental management is needed. National police and military intervention is being considered, and disaster preparedness is being re-evaluated. Painful lessons were taught here, and survivors hope officials have finally learned them. Margo Artigas, Al Jazeera, Northern Mindanao, the Philippines.
Saving our forests. How can we save our forests? Sa mga simple nating paraan, maliligtas na ang kagubatan. Magpapatigil ng illegal logging and burning of woods in the forest. Sa hindi natin pagtapon ang kagubatan ng mga kalat. At higit sa lahat, ang pagtatanim ng mga puno sa kagubatan. As we can see, this is how beautiful our forest is. If we let them remain, marami tayong makukuha sa kanila na dapat natin inaalagaan at pinapahalagaan upang sa pagdating ng mga panibagong henerasyon ay magamit nila ito. Forest is a big part of the Philippines. And most of our fellow Filipino get their livelihood in the forest. Pero bakit natin pinababayaan ang ating kalikasan? Tulungan nila tayo upang tayo ay mabuhay. Bakit hindi rin natin sila tulungan upang sila ay mabuhay? Save our forest. I'm going to give you a video clip of how we can really save our forest. With this video, I hope you understand how important our forest. And after that video clip, I hope you help and you continue doing good things in our Mother Earth, especially in our forest, that give us house and livelihood for our family. Thank you.
Forests cover a third of land on our planet. They are adaptable. But not infinitely. They sustain life. All life. Everywhere. But not infinitely. Help sustain them. Plant a tree. Plant our future.
The majesty of it is just incredible. It's different than anything else you see in the woods.
It's so rare to be able to actually bring my students to see it. I wouldn't have dreamed it would be possible.
And this gives Nashville a chance to have something unique in the environmental field and also something unique in terms of parks.
It's just so amazing, but it's practically untouched. Yeah, it's just really impressive.
Is there any way possible at all, let's try to save it, because everybody can learn from it.
It will be a precious treasure for this city, something that no other city really has.
An old-growth forest is defined by having no evidence of trees ever having been cut, having very large trees, large diameter trees, having large trees on the ground where they've been blown over by wind or whatever.
This old-growth forest would be the largest old-growth forest in an urban park east of the Mississippi, and that's something that we have to protect.
Oh, I found like 3.
Did you find them?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you picked up.
It's a lizard.
If you can preserve a forest like these for as long as possible, then it's good for the world.
So you can tell such a difference in the soil, and just like the air is so much cleaner.
This is the state tree right here. This is it. It's the state record pignut hickory.
I wouldn't take nothing for the time that I growed up here. We enjoyed the outdoors. We would go play in the woods, and I didn't realize how fortunate or what a backyard I had. This is a special place, and it's a special place to me in my heart. And I'm working all I can do to try to save this place for everybody to enjoy like I have in the past.
It would be so sad to see these trees, these 300-year-old trees. It would just be terrible to see them cut down and used to build a mall or something.
When you've been there, you will come away feeling a sense of wonderment and peace. Not many people in the United States have been exposed to something like this.
It's beyond putting a dollar amount on. We take them out to local forests where we point out all the problems that are happening in the ecosystems. And here they can come and actually see an intact ecosystem. It's very rare.
H.G. Hill purchased this land around 1900. As far as we know, before Mr. Hill purchased it, it was never logged, and so it was never timbered after he purchased it. And he loved it, and that's the reason it was able to be maintained the way it was. We're fortunate to have the wildlife we have here. We have deer, foxes, coyotes, bobcats, birds, all different kind of birds. A lot of people might not realize it right now, but I do know. I know what is here for people to enjoy. Everybody can learn from it. And to be able to stand and try to reach around, and they can't even start to reach around some of the old trees. If we can get everybody involved in preserving this, would be great, because once it's gone, there's no way, of course everybody knows, it'll ever be back. Development would mean they would come in, they might say we can save a part of it and it'll still be old forest. It won't be the same. It would just destroy the property.
Well, I put together what we're calling the Green Ribbon Commission to help this city become the greenest city in the Southeast. Appreciating the value of an old-growth forest, appreciating the value of something that cannot be replaced, I think goes hand in hand with the goals of the Green Ribbon Commission.
We have to buy this precious piece of land.
The owners of the property have given us the opportunity to buy it until about the end of the year.
We have every intention of gifting it to the city for all the people of the city to enjoy. By the end of the year, we have to know where most of our money is coming from.
It's going to take everybody. No one group can do it.
This city has an opportunity to take a giant step forward and to distinguish ourselves from other cities as being very environmentally conscious and being as environmentally friendly as any city in America.
This is unique to Tennessee, and there are going to be many, many ways in which we can use it, both educationally and recreationally.
If we can get more people to realize that this is here, then maybe they'll be more likely to preserve it in the future and keep it here for generations.
You know, I'll always stick with them. They'll take that back with them and remember what a great place this was.
If we can't do it, the property will be sold and developed. And if that happens, these trees will be cut and a bell will be rung that can never be unrung.
Oh, it would be heartbreaking. We'd lose a huge resource. We'd lose something of enormous value.
Just 3 forest ecosystems are home to many of our planet's treasured species. From big cats to great apes, dolphins to butterflies, an untold variety of flora and fauna depend on these forests. They also provide a livelihood for more than 1 billion people and support life on Earth for every single man, woman, and child. Globally, forests and their associated river systems and wetlands regulate and stabilize the climate. They can also fuel the economic engines of developing nations, if they are managed sustainably. Despite their enormous value to people and nature, these forests remain an undervalued resource. More than 13 million hectares of forest are destroyed worldwide each year. Although the rate appears to be in decline, this level of forest loss is not sustainable. This loss of forest increases greenhouse gas emissions and land degradation, threatens biodiversity, and puts at risk the homes and livelihoods of indigenous peoples who have depended on these forests for generations. Over the last 10 years, significant progress has been made in developing policies designed to slow or halt the loss and degradation of these forests. Legally established protected areas cover an estimated 18% of these rainforest basins, and more than 210 million hectares of forest have management plans. 83% of the forests are publicly owned. 21% of the forests are primarily used for production of wood and non-wood products. 14% of the forests are designated for the conservation of biological diversity. And 7% of the forests have soil and water conservation as their primary objective. The level of deforestation and degradation varies from one forest basin to another. Yet the countries that house these dynamic ecosystems share many challenges. Each is striving to find the right balance that allows for economic growth while protecting the resources on which its people, and indeed the planet, depend. Together, they are working to ensure greater contributions to the regulation and stabilization of the climate and the fight against poverty while promoting economic development. Consultation and discussion is one way to help tropical forest countries manage shared challenges. It is an acknowledgement that no nation can address the issues of climate change and biodiversity loss in isolation. Countries attending this summit seek cooperation with each other and the rest of the world. Together, we can create solutions and mobilize resources to improve management of these vital global forests.
Forests are an essential resource for water, clean air, and food. Plus, they help to fight climate change. When they are destroyed, entire ecosystems can go into shock. Patrick Dugan has been working in Asia for 30 years, helping forests to regenerate.
What you see here is what's left of what was once a beautiful forest after decades and decades of slash and burn, abuse, overpasturing, bad forest, bad land management. Look, hardly anything left. No tree seedlings, hardly even any weed seedlings, just this tenacious grass here, about the last thing that would grow. It's almost down to the final stage of degradation. Bedrock.
Even degradation this bad can be reversed, but it takes time. One example of how local people can make a difference is here on Bohol Island in the Philippines through a program called Assisted Natural Regeneration, or ANR. ANR is an ingeniously simple, low-cost process that allows small native trees to grow by eliminating competition from undesirable species.
All these little fellows that are trying to grow get a chance to grow, and you can see the result. This is only 2 years old. And how many species have you got here? All native species. Things that just grew naturally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See the different leaf shapes? You can tell they're different species. And here are little babies trying to emerge. And this is what this natural regeneration is all about. These things happen. You just help Mother Nature, and they happen.
When a forest is destroyed, the environment suffers. Jobs are lost, and farmers are left with degraded soil. Everybody loses. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization partnered with the Philippines government to promote ANR as a way of regenerating the forests. For Alberto Padilla, it means work and a way to make the forests more sustainable.
Unang kuha ng kaayuhan, makahatag og pangwartahan sa katawhan o makapabalik og padaghan sa among kakahuyan ng dakwang kalasangan ako.
Hundreds of locally employed people here work to protect and regenerate the forests. The ANR technique is simple. When a small tree is located, a ring is weeded around it, and the surrounding grass is pressed down. Pressing the grass prevents it from taking the water and nutrients trees need to grow. Finally, nearby grass is cut away, so sunlight can penetrate the area and trees can grow quickly.
Dugang yung makahatag og kaayuhan sa among mga mag-uuma kani yung panahon nga may balik na ang saktong kinayahan kabugnaw unya hantod nga makapananom yung sakto sa maong mga mag-uuma sa among dakit.
The program works because local people act as its key players. Eliseo Chavez and his family have always lived in this forest.
Sa una sawa pa moabot ang project sa NR, magsigig kasunog ang kamutanan. Nya karon, diyan ay project sa NR na protektahan na sa mga tao din apel po sa kabenepisyo na katrabaho.
Eliseo gets a steady income from this project by patrolling the forest, a key part of the ANR program. Teams patrol daily looking for illegal harvesting, grazing or fires, which can devastate and wipe out an entire forest. Fire lines are created to prevent flames from jumping between forest areas. The community aspect of this program means local people take pride in caring for their own forests.
Akong nakita ag unsa gid importante ang lasang angay protektaran natong tanan ug ako kung naan sa kagalingon nya karon og umaabot pa nga henerasyon sa kabatanunan.
But forests, one of the planet's most important resources, are still under pressure worldwide. They make up a third of the planet's land mass and provide over 1.5 billion people with a livelihood. Many forests are not being used to their full potential. If restored and managed properly, they could support even more people. Worldwide, 850 million hectares, an area the size of Brazil, lie spoiled and degraded. And every year, a further 13 million hectares of forest are lost. Forest ecosystems are highly adaptive, and with the right help, this huge part of our planet can regrow. In fact, through natural regrowth, together with forest regeneration and replantation projects, 8 million hectares of forest grow back each year, and the rate of destruction is finally slowing.
We have reports that for the first time, the rate of deforestation is decreasing in many countries around the world. And this is a result of the concerted efforts at local and international levels. We're seeing this happening in Asia in particular as a result of increased resources being given to forest rehabilitation and forest restoration.
A booming world population means an increased need for food, so the forest's role in protecting watersheds, preventing erosion, and providing a foothold for biodiversity is more important than ever. Manila, a city of over 11 million people with a sizable carbon footprint. The congestion here contributes to the buildup of greenhouse gases. The government realized it was time to reverse the trend and help mitigate climate change by supporting forest regeneration.
We appreciate that. For example, a big city like Makati in the Philippines, which is a carbon emitter, and a resort in an island of Bohol, which is a protected area, becomes a carbon sink.
Forests support a growing population, and community-based programs need to aid efforts to regrow them. And when the forest does start to bounce back, new sources of income come with it. The tropical pandanus plant is used as food and to make dozens of household products. These women are able to grow the plant and make baskets for sale throughout the Philippines. It's an industry directly tied to the success of the surrounding forests. The return of lush forests means the Philippine island of Bohol is now ideally placed to exploit the ecotourism boom. As people begin to understand the fragility of our natural systems, they are flocking to see forests, which in turn brings income into the community. Recognizing this, the city of Danao is ploughing back a portion of ecotourism fees into forest rehabilitation, including ANR.
We came up with an ecotourism before it became too late, before we lost all our forests. So we wanted our people to know that, progress does not have to entail destruction of our forests. So we wanted them to realize also that they can benefit from what we have.
2011 has been declared by the United Nations to be the International Year of Forests. This will give further impetus to an increasing awareness that is already showing positive results. It's an occasion to celebrate the role of forests, but at the same time reminds us that more needs to be done.
What you see behind me is what the natural forest really looks like. There are big trees that are from the original forest. There are smaller ones from the regenerated forest. Ages ranging from 80 or 90 years old for the big ones to maybe 20, 30, 40 years old for the little ones. This is what can happen here. It can happen all over Bohol. It can happen all over the Philippines. It can happen all over the world.